Welcome back to another pastry lesson. Today we're going to be learning to make a Genoise sponge and cut it for a decorated cake or gateau. If this is your first time here, don't forget to click subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. Right, let's get started. So begin by boiling some water. The amount's not important, just do about 2 centimeters or an inch. Place on top a metal or glass bowl, and then into that you're going to put 8 eggs, yolks and whites. And now add 250 grams of caster sugar or 1 1/4 cups. And now using an electric whisk on full speed for about 3 to 5 minutes. And here we are after 5 minutes. You can see that the eggs have aerated, tripled in size, and are very light and pale. So this is called the ribbon stage. As you can see, when I leave a trail on top of my eggs, it doesn't sink back in. Don't skip this step because there's no other aeration to this cake. Now we're going to sieve over 250 grams or 2 cups of plain flour, but we're going to do it in 3 small additions. So start with about 1/3 of your flour mix, and then we're going to use the folding technique to gently fold that in. If you look here with my spatula, I go in sideways and then come up flat. And we're just going to fold in until most of the flour is incorporated. You don't need to incorporate it all at this point. And now sieve in another 1/3 of your flour. Fold in again until nearly incorporated. And now the rest of your flour, and now you do need to fold it in until it's all incorporated. The reason you don't want to do this with each addition is because you'll knock out too much air of your batter, and your end product will be dense. As always, I'll put the equipment I use and the recipes in grams and cups in the description below. And now take your 45 grams or 1/4 cup of melted butter and pour round in a spiral like so. This makes it easier to fold in. And you can still see we've got plenty of aeration and lots of bubbles going on in that batter. Now take your lined cake tin and brush lightly with butter all around. If you have too much butter here, you'll end up with dark brown patches on your cake. Now fill your cake tin about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way up with your batter. This sponge will rise in the oven, but not as much as your traditional cake that might use baking powder. And now just give the tray a light shake to smooth out the surface on the top. And now into a preheated oven at 180 degrees centigrade or 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 minutes. But do check with a skewer to make sure it comes out clean. If not, back in for another 5 minutes. But mine's done, so I'm going to flip this onto my cooling rack and remove the baking paper. And now I'm just going to run a knife about 1 centimeter deep around the base just to loosen it off. And leave to cool for about an hour. After an hour you should be able to remove your cake tin and it's ready to slice into layers. So we're going to cut this cake freehand now. So we're going to use a cake turntable and just a plate. And place your sponge on top, and then we're going to use this pastry knife. And we're going to start by just making a guide cut. So this is just a shallow cut that we're going to define our layers with. Now before you continue, just check you're happy with how even your layers are. Which I am, so I'm just going to make a slightly deeper cut now. And now we're just going to go all the way around the cake, still just making that shallow guide cut. The point of doing this is that it stops your knife from wandering when you come to actually make your final cut. And we'll do the same on the other layer. Now just have a look all the way around your cake and make sure your guide cuts are even, and then we can start actually taking the layers off of this cake. So we're going to slowly turn the cake while sawing back and forth with the knife. And my knife doesn't move from its position, it just goes back and forth, but I turn the cake. And with each turn you're going to get slightly deeper each time. So once your knife gets to the centre of the cake, you'll have cut all the way around and you should have this perfectly flat layer. So let's just do that again for the other layer. And that's it, you're done. You can now decorate your cake with whatever ingredients you choose. If you like this kind of thing, remember to like, subscribe and comment, and we'll see you next week.